Hey, what's up? Happy Friday to everybody. Thought I'd come on here live. Don't come on live, that much, but, here, on Friday, getting ready for a home inspection, and thought I would just come on and talk to you guys a little bit about home inspections. You know, a lot of times for both buyer, seller, and a lot of times for the agents, the home inspection is really one of the most nerve-wracking processes of the entire process of buying or selling a home. It's not a pass or fail. It really shouldn't be that scary at all. Usually comes down to just letting your mind wander too much, or not having really good preparation and a good foundation about what the home inspection is from your agent. All right. So today we're doing a home inspection here in Norfolk on the Elizabeth River. Beautiful day for a home inspection. Exciting time. If you're a buyer, it should be an exciting time. If you work with me and you're not PCSing or you're not out of the area, you're here local or can be for the home inspection, I really would prefer that you do come to the home inspection. There's many reasons for that, but it's an important process, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. If you've never bought a home before, you need to be at the home inspection if you can. And if you can't, make sure you have an agent who has been through hundreds, thousands of home inspections and not just being present. A little background for me. I've been doing this for the better part of 15 years and have an engineering background with the Navy, worked on a large wheat farm in Kansas, livestock, all kinds of things. So I have a pretty good idea of construction and homes and all of that, but I felt I needed a little bit more knowledge. So when I first got into real estate, I found a couple of great home inspectors and I shadowed them. I did over 100 inspections where I got the poopy suit on, crawled in the crawl space, got up on the roof, and really took notes, asked the inspector questions. We looked at old homes in the 1700s, 1900s, new construction property, commercial property, big homes, small homes, you name it. And when you do 100 inspections like that, you pretty well get a good idea of what's going on, because a lot of the things you find in a home inspection are reoccurring on almost every home. So with that being said, it shouldn't be a scary thing. I like to use home inspectors that really give you a very detailed report of the property, deliver you a 50, 60, 70, 80 page report of your property. And I refer to it as kind of a homeowner's manual, if you will, right? The home inspector is going to deliver you this report, and it's not a pass or fail. Like I've said before, it's never about a pass or fail. It's about what the condition of that property is. And if you like it, if you want to move forward, if you deem it a pass or fail, right? But I really like home inspectors that are really detailed. A lot of home inspectors, I notice, they use a real simple form. Like they'll go around and they'll just have check boxes that say, oh, the roof is satisfactory or the plumbing, not satisfactory. And then, you're just left with a few photos trying to figure out what's going on. That's a really, in my opinion, a disservice to a buyer and even a seller. It's hard to find out what's wrong if it's not documented correctly. So that's why I like using a good home inspector that details it. I always encourage my clients to keep that home inspection report as a new owner's manual to your home. Refer back to it from time to time. The inspectors I use have inspector tips inside of the home inspection report that you can refer back to, because a lot of these things, right, are going to come up in your years of ownership and what have you. But getting back to crawling around a home, hundreds of homes with the home inspector, it gave me all of the terminology that I needed to be able to understand a home, what's going on when a home inspector says, hey, this flashing is bad, or this girder beam has some termite damage, or cast iron pipe, PEX, copper, you name it, right? All the terms, what a fascia board is, what a rake board is, kick out flashing, crickets. I mean, the list goes on and on. And what that allows me to do, knowing all this information, is that when I'm working with you as a buyer, I tell you what, we're going to walk through a home, and I don't know how many of you guys have been through home inspections with your agent or whoever, but a lot of times what agents do is they open the door and get kind of named a glorified door opener for buyers, because what they do is when they walk in, they start trying to sell, right? They start trying to push, look at this beautiful kitchen, and oh, look, can you see your kids running around the backyard? Will your dining room table fit here? And they're trying to sort of force a sale, and that's really very difficult for a buyer, especially if you've ever been through the process, to have somebody just talking while you're trying to visualize yourself in the home, look at it and whatnot. So what I do is when I get in, of course, I open up the door, turn on all the lights for you, and I say, hey, look, you guys feel free to walk around the home. Don't be bashful, right? Take a look. And in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'll meet you right back here in the kitchen. In the meantime, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to start walking around the property, and I'm going to start looking at things from all of those home inspections that I've been on, because I know what the home inspectors are going to be looking for. And I'm going to go around and look at the property. I'm going to look at the roof. I'm going to look at the heating and air system, the water heater, take a peek in that crawl space if possible. I'm not going to take anything apart, obviously, but I'm going to look at everything from a visual perspective. And then when I do that, you've looked at the property, I'll meet you right back in the kitchen, and I ask you this question: how do you feel about the property? You'll tell me everything about the property, what you like, what you don't like, the whole kit and caboodle. Excuse me, I got a truck trying to get in here for the home inspection. Let me just back this up a little bit and let him in. But any which way, we'll meet back in the kitchen. Sorry about that. We'll meet back in the kitchen. You'll tell me everything about that property, what you like, what you don't like, which helps me as we move forward searching for other properties. But then I'm going to ask you this: is this a contender for you? You'll say yes or no. If you say no, I'll say great, let's move on to the next property we have scheduled to view. If you say yes, this is a contender, then I'll spend a few minutes going over the things that I found that I know a home inspector is going to bring up. Right? Did I notice any of the window seals broken, like that fog you see in the window? Should I point that out? Is it excessive in the property? Does the roof look like it's aged beyond 50 or 60% of its life that you should know about? Do I notice any GFCI missing in wet areas? Does the air conditioning and heating look old? What does that stamp look like? Water heater, all of those things I'm going to bring up, not to try to steer you away from not buying the property, but I know that the home inspector is going to bring up these things. Okay. So I want you to know about them in advance. And then there's no surprises, right? Aside from what I can't see, I'm not going to crawl around all the way in the crawl space on an initial visit like that. I'm not going to crawl up on the roof. I'm not going to take apart the electrical panel, but I'm going to give you a really good visual, inspection of the property, right? For you on every home that we look at, really. And that way there's just absolutely no surprises. When the home inspector says, hey, look, the air conditioning system is technically beyond its service life, it's 14 or 15 years old or whatever, it's not a surprise to you. The roof, it's about halfway through its life. I told you that in the beginning before we even made an offer. And I think a lot of people really enjoy me doing that. I like doing that. It saves time. It saves just frustration. Home inspections nowadays are running $700-800 per inspection, and the bigger the home, the more that they are. So why waste time, your time and money, if I know these things? So I think that's a really big, benefit for it. And, of course, there's always surprises. Sometimes with inspections, you don't always know everything, but you're going to get a really, 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 good examination of that property when we walk it together. So everything else, the house sells itself. If you like the location, you like the floor plan, you can see yourself living there, I don't need to spend a lot of time trying to convince you it's the right property. I've never understood why agents do that. Does not make any sense, right? But the things that really do matter deep down inside, the condition of that property, what's going to cost you money, and it's, again, not to deter you from buying or purchasing the property. It's so that you know and there's no surprises. And then if you bring it up later on, right, of course I'm going to say, hey, didn't I tell you that? I told you that, 65% of the windows in this property had failing seals. And home inspectors' reports, another thing is their reports are going to read dramatic. I mean, they're going to tell you, hey, look, the tub stopper doesn't work, and they're going to make it read like the tub's going to fall through the floor. The roof is, a third through its life. That's not very scary. But once it gets to the last third, they're going to list a laundry list of things. And the last third is a long time. There's still a long time left in that roof. They last 25, 30 years, depending on the roof type and structure. So the last third, sure, you may have to look at replacing that, but that's everything in a house as you go along. But it's going to read really, really dramatic. It's almost crazy what it reads like. So you need somebody on your side who knows everything about the house, has been through hundreds of inspections, knows the construction, knows what the inspectors are looking for to kind of clear the muddy waters when you read that home inspection report. One of the worst things I see some people doing is they think they want to get a little clever too. And they want to go, you know what, I'm going to take my home inspection report and I'm going to put it in one of these fancy little chat GPTs or Geminis and have it read the whole report. Well, because of the way the home inspections are written, They're written for CYA. They're written for the state. They're inspected on a 2026 or new construction level. We all know around here the homes are built old, right? I mean, not even old by European standards, but for Americans, they're old, built in the 1900s, 1950s around Hampton Roads, some built in the 1700s, depending on where you're at. So it's impossible to inspect them, is what I'm getting at. It's possible to inspect homes really at a 2026 level. Two types of home inspectors: a book home inspector, and the other one is somebody who has common sense, common practice about home construction, maybe some experience in it aside from just taking a test and also just shadowing inspectors. So a lot of things going on with a home inspection. I know I've been rambling on here for a couple of minutes about it. I can go on and on about home inspections. They're very important. If you're a buyer, try to attend your home inspection. Be excited about the process. Hopefully you're working with an agent who has a way that they show you property and point out items that they know and that are going to come up during the home inspection that could be significant for you, that you should know before you even make an offer. What's the point of making offers if you're going to just back out of it because your agent didn't tell you that the roof is on its last leg or whatever, right? I think that's very important. So try to attend those home inspections and lean on your realtor too on who the home inspector should be. Hopefully then the agent you're working with has the knowledge to know what is needed. Other than that, it's important for sellers too. I help sellers all the time because when I walk around their property, I try to find things that they might be able to fix before we get into the home inspection phase, and give them some pointers and say, look, the home inspectors are going to pick this up. This is some things I see all the time that are easy for you to fix, we can get away with. And by the way, the home inspector is going to find things regardless. That's their job, right? Is to find things wrong with the property that the buyer should know about. I don't care if you do 25 home inspections, there's always going to be somebody that finds something. So just try to stay calm, whether you're a buyer or seller. Get through the process. Lean on your agent. It's not a pass or fail. But you'll have a really good visual inspection from the rooftop down from your agent in the beginning, and then it'll be confirmed with your home inspector when you get or to select the property that you want. Get a good home inspector. Keep the home inspection report. Refer back to it from time to time, spring cleaning, fall cleaning, etc. And then ask for repairs from the seller that make sense. Don't just put stuff into ChatGPT and go, hey, the ChatGPT said if I don't fix this, it's going to cause these kinds of problems. Yeah, it's going to bounce it off of what the inspection report says. And they read very dramatically. It's just the way the state has them, and the home inspectors don't want to get sued, so they're afraid to say anything and put anything in writing, which is why you need a good home inspector. You need a good agent, and you need to be on site for your home inspection, especially if it is your first home. Looking for things as far as what's important. You know, there's a lot of things that are important. Everybody has different things that are important to them. But I always tell my clients that once look for things that are not working, meaning they don't work, like the outlet doesn't work at all, the air conditioning doesn't work at all. Look for, things, active signs for leaks, plumbing leaks, roofing leaks, structural problems, big ticket items. Because I can tell you from experience of almost, 400 or 500 personal closings here in Hampton Roads, working with hundreds and hundreds of clients. When a seller goes to fix something, like simple things like changing out an outlet or just the little nickel and dime things, a loose toilet and stuff, they're going to fix it, but they might not fix it the way you want it fixed. And some of these things are honey-do lists for the weekend that you should probably take care of. Let's look for the big items that are important, have the seller address those, and there's always going to be things that you'll need to take care of as a new homeowner at the end of the day. So I hope that kind of clears things up with the home inspection. If anybody's got any questions or what have you, you are always welcome to reach out to me about buying, selling property here in Hampton Roads. 757-270-3994. Thanks for tuning in. I'll try to jump on these lives a little bit more as time goes on. If you guys like them, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and we'll cover some topics and just get to know one another a little bit. You don't have to be in the state of Virginia for me to give you some advice when it comes to these things. Obviously, every state's a little bit different. I've had people reach out to me from, Kansas to, California, Florida, Massachusetts, everywhere, just asking some simple questions about, what my thoughts are on that. So don't be afraid to do that either. I'm here as a resource for you regardless, here to help the community and you guys in real estate's my passion, and really do enjoy doing it. So with that being said, y'all have a great weekend. If you need anything, get me anytime. I'll see y'all around town.